can't type.
Hello, guys, and welcome to Behind the Bunker. This is episode 488, podcast number 367. Thank you so much for joining me. We are still in the middle of the gray zone, so we are doing a outside studio show tonight, but with some improvements over last week, we've fixed a couple things, so bear with us. This is going to be a great show. We have lots to get to tonight. We have a new Fresh Vault segment. We have an Antiques Road show, Mail Time, Price is Right. We have a custom corner submission that I'm pretty excited about, and a lot more. But first, let's welcome to the show, what about Josh Zubizabrickus this week?
Yeah, hello, and big thank you goes out to everyone who liked and shared the show last week. It made a huge difference. We do appreciate that, and again, this week we're going to ask you to do the same. For those of you who did not, screw you too.
By the way, who you, Dustin Schnitzelholtz, there for a second? Yeah,
buddy.
And then we also have Joe Kimson from Flag Raiders Paintball. Oh, he's on.
I was muted. Now I'm not muted. Trying to get my chat form to come in, but the keyboard won't type. And thanks for tuning in to Behind the Bunker. Hopefully things will go better than my system.
Very good. Little Metamucil, and that'll help. But we also have Gavin Sharma from TerraTech Industries. Sorry, Gavin. Holy cow, we took the wind out of his sails.
I'm glad you're regular, and you're doing well, Joseph. And I hope you're all regular as well, folks. Regular viewers, that is. Thank you so much for tuning in, and make sure you hit that like and share, as my friend Josh said. It is very, very important that you tune in tonight because we have an incredible show. So thank you for joining us, interact in the chat. We'll try to get to it as soon as we can. But tonight is Monday night. It's Behind the Bunker. You're here. Make sure you like and share so everybody else can join us as well.
Yeah. You guys did really well last week. I found us in a lot of places where we don't normally see us. Shared in. There was a couple of different paintball forums I didn't know existed. There was a couple people that put it in microwave cookery and all kinds of different places. So thank you for that, guys. We're bringing a whole bunch of new people to see some paintball content. So thank you very much.
Do your part. Damn it. Like and share.
Also, if you guys are watching, you can do what Joey did here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to Joey Setapan. He says he rated us on...
She?
No, it's a he. I know the avatar is a picture of a woman,
okay.
But you're not getting me in trouble tonight.
All right.
Damn you. They said, great experience with them, and the show is hilarious. So thank you. I appreciate the recommendation. If you guys are watching us on YouTube or on Facebook, definitely do that. Just put a recommendation up if you want. Also, hit that like and share button. If you're watching us on YouTube, which is also where we are broadcasting, hit that subscribe button. A couple of events we want to tell you guys about. Save the date. Here's a bunch of Mission Masters scenario paintball production games. Check those out. What else do we have? We have War at World Crimson Tide. That's happening April 9th to 11th. Check that one out. Also, Super Game Indiana at LaPorte, Indiana. That is also happening on June 25th to 27th. Aliens vs. Predator Total Carnage, April 24th to 25th. Check that game out. Josh, I think we should bring back paintball around the world now that a lot of these games are starting to pop up again.
That wouldn't be so terrible.
No. And Matt, I'm gonna pop out a couple things so that I'm not streaming the show then. All right.
Can we just stop for a second, though?
We can. Are we going to collaborate?
Yeah, our good friend Greg Hastings is in the chat right now, and he liked and shared it, so thank you for that. So, again, we talked about this last week, but congratulations, Greg, one more time. Clearly, you're sleep-deprived, and this is why you're watching this, to help you fall asleep again. But congratulations on your new bundle of joy, and all the best in your next chapter.
I'm disappointed.
Yes,
we all signed that.
Congratulations, yes.
But we all signed that agreement, or not agreement, but that petition for him not to procreate. I guess we didn't get enough signatures. Sorry, Greg. It's nice to see you on the show, sir. We haven't talked to you in such a long time. Yeah, see a lot of you guys signing in. Matt, are your numbers working any better? Okay, let me know, and I can always turn my stuff off. Okay, all right. Yeah, it's hard to produce a show when everybody is in different different places. All right, well, Gavin, why don't we get to some mail time tonight? Are you ready for that?
I think I am. The mail time. Mail time. Mail time. Mail time. The mail's here.
All right, Gavin, have at it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is mail time, the time where I get to shine and rip open my sack, ding, which I forgot to pick up today, and read some of the correspondence that you, ladies and gentlemen, have sent in. So we had a full sack from last week, and so we're going to add to it this week as well, because you guys got a lot of questions that you need answered. So the first one comes to us from Chris Companion. He's got a two-part question. The first one is, WTF is up with Todd's hair?
Yeah, I was having a bad hair week last week when he sent that in. I don't know. Nothing. It's flowing. It's looking good today. It's my COVID hairstyle. We should be talking more so about Gavin's stash.
That wasn't in the question. Let's move on. All right. But there's a question regarding me. It's like, what's the backstory to the name Z that I used to have, and that was my moniker. So it was a nickname I received in college, among many nicknames that we talk about on the show. And why it was prevalent and used quite a bit was because back in the early or late 90s, early 2000s, everybody needed a nickname to use on chat forums because Paintball community was primarily communication happened over chat forums, and you needed a screen name in order to participate. So Z made its way into every paintball chat that I was involved in, and that morphed or moved its way into the Phoenix projects as well. And so any character that I assumed as general would have a Z in it. So there was Z Aladdin, Kim Young Z, anything like
Rommel.
that. Zeman Rommel, yeah. So that's how Z came. So it was a nickname from college, and I carried it over to the paintball communities. But that is now, since we with the advent of like social media such as this, it's no longer relevant or present. So yeah, that's sort of the backstory, Chris. But thank you for your question. And next question comes to us from Joe Strayer. Hopefully I'm pronouncing this right. And hopefully we didn't ask this last week. So what do you think the future of the NXL looks like after COVID?
Fragmented.
Ooh. Okay.
I think. I mean, it's going to take a while for them to get started. Rumor has it it might be a late or slow start this year. None of that's confirmed, obviously, but I don't know. It's not so much. I think you'll be able to model whatever happens to the NXL with whatever else is happening in society and culture. Are people going to be getting out? People are going to be getting back at stuff. I don't know. People are chomping at the bit. Any opportunity they got to play last year, they took advantage of it. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I really think they want the big show again. There's been a number of sacrifices around the world, particularly in the paintball community. So I really think people will be chomping at the bit, as you said, Todd, to get back into world-class events. And the NXL is definitely a world-class event, both for what the manufacturers can show and what the athletes can show as well. So what's it going to look like? I hope to God it's back to normal by next year as the vaccine rolls out too. But it's wait and see. But fingers crossed. I'm optimistic about 2021, and hopefully the NXL thrives with respect to that as well.
Yeah. Sorry to interject for a second. We had to dump YouTube. YouTube was causing us the lag. Everything else just sped right up. So YouTube's encoders are not working as well as they should be. So we are only on Facebook right now. So if you guys are watching us on Facebook, hit that share button for sure so that people can come back and find us from all that was watching on YouTube. So very cool.
What will happen after the after show? Will we have the after show just on Facebook, or will you switch to YouTube?
Well, we'll see how the internet does. Maybe Matt could probably get us back up and running in a little while, but we'll see how that goes. Yeah. All
right. So the next question comes to us from Tommy Tuamala. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that, my friend. What is the lightest 68 tank? So including the European standards as well. So what is the lightest tank that is available on the market right now?
Ninja has some ultralight or some super lights. I think their tanks are probably the lightest, and their regs are pretty compact. So I think that probably even the Ninja. Ask Josh.
I think Ninja has. At least I know 2 years ago they were the lightest.
But in all fairness, the lightest Ninja tank that they had, how even if they got lighter, does it really matter? At some point, you need a little bit of weight to your marker, otherwise you're not going to be able to use it. I'm not talking pounds.
You blow away.
It's not a cloud. It's not
No,
it's
but
it's going to land in your hand and disappear.
No, but okay, so if you took a speedball gun like a Planet Eclipse CS2 or something like that, and you took the tank off of it, let's say, and you took the hopper off of it, loaded up with paint, that gun by itself is so light. You need some sort of weight to be able to move it around and to hold it steady. I feel like if it's too light, I don't know. I mean, the tanks themselves, Christ, I don't know how much lighter you're going to get them anyways.
Does anyone ever remember the old art of using drop forwards to balance your marker?
What kind of drop forward?
Flame drop forward.
That's
Always
right.
flame drop forward, never anything else. But yeah, the idea was that you had to have weight distribution even so that when you loaded paint, the front of your marker wasn't too heavy and the back wasn't too heavy, so it was equal. It does make sense to have some weight to a tank, but like if you're looking at a Ninja tank and you're going, I'm not sure if this is light enough, maybe the gym is a better place for you for a little bit. Or maybe you talk to our old friend, the shoebox. Shocker. So,
Yeah. Yeah, back then people used to have one large muscular arm, not because they were lonely, but because they played paintball.
And only played for half a day.
Yeah.
All right.
We also
Next.
have two visual questions, Gavin. Should we
go
get to
ahead.
those while we have them?
It's your show, Todd.
Well, Jason Diff writes in. He says,
Hey, that's my line.
what was your first scenario/producer game played? Wayne Dalek, MXS, TAW, Black Cat, and do you think we will ever see more scenario producers make a comeback? I've played a bunch of games. I know Joe's played a Wayne Dalek game, but I don't know that we've lost any producers. I mean, we've lost some of those names, but between Viper and Hanu and some of the other guys out there right now, Dan Bonebreak, I mean, some of these guys are putting on tremendous games. I would say we're still on par, wouldn't you guys?
I tend to agree. Wayne Dalek he runs some pretty neat games. He's getting up there in age, but it still doesn't take away his creativity and the ability to put on a good show. I played a Wayne Dalek 24-hour game. I don't know, in 1994 or 1993. Man, it was a good game. It was fun, but what was even scarier was the giant spiders in the palmetto beetles in the palmetto bushes. Like there were spiders with heads, bodies as big as that, with legs this long, and giant webs that you would run and they would stop you. Then you'd hear the spider in the bushes with its mandibles going like this, coming to get you. So
I think Joe's been watching The Hobbit.
I have not. No such thing.
I played a Wayne Dalek game, and it was fantastic because he would actually dress up in character with makeup and all that wonderful stuff and float around in the community and reveal information or misinformation too. So that was the first time I actually got to meet him when he had makeup on, which was fantastic. So Jason, to answer your question, I don't think there's going to be a significant drop-off of scenario producers. I would say the opposite. I think that people have learned over the last 40 years of paintball what scenario paintball can be, and you'll see more and more better production value in terms of the scenarios that you're going to. So I think it's not even a comeback. I think it's still here, and I think it's going to be bigger and better for 2021. So I'm pretty optimistic about the whole sport, but scenario paintball and big games as well.
Yeah. Then we have Bob Spisser in the live chat says, I think based on Fortnite and PUBG success, we're going to see even more scenario games. Well, not even so much that is, I mean, those are good points, but what about some of the movies that are out? I saw there's a big game coming on that's a tiger, what is it, Tiger Cat? Not Tiger Cat. What's that movie?
Tiger King.
Tiger King. That had a Tiger King themed big game. There's so many great ideas. We did a Simpsons themed game once. That was pretty awesome. I mean, Yeah, I mean, it's endless. Jason Diff says his first scenario game was Wayne Dollick in 2001 at Southwest Paintball. Action scenario events, yeah, Ryan does a great job with that as well. We had a Trek Wars at our field a few years back. That was from Phil Ramirez.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was Trek versus
That was
Star
a good
Wars.
game.
Yeah, Trek Wars. It was a fantastic game, and I was in a Jedi costume with Yoda on my back. So
Yeah. And sorry,
That's the most dressed up I've seen people in a while, maybe with the exception of the Water Wars game, which was like a post-apocalyptic type adventure.
but even back when we used to
I
host
think there's-
war games like Vietnam themed and stuff like that, you had more people dressed up. I feel maybe that
I
was
think so.
yeah, we were talking about that last week, right? How
That was kind of in the early days, though, before you had teams and guys wearing
Teams, yeah.
jerseys. When you still had groups of friends and people that would come out, but they would really take pride in their costumes. And I think this year, from what we saw at Paintball Extravaganza, we would have seen the return of costumes and more dressing up for big game and scenario events. Like, sorry, Gavin, I took the wind out of your sails.
no, it's true. It's so 2021. Let's make that the year of the costume.
I would
both
ask,
on and off the field.
I would put a challenge out there to anybody who's watching who's a game producer to put things back into games instead of having most valuable team or most valuable player or something like that. Do best costume, do best team group effort costume or something like that to bring all that fun aspect back to it without maybe going too far into the LARPing world. But I would rather see that than somebody win an MVP team from the guy who's generaling his own team. Like, I would rather see that, but like, give me best costume. I want to see fun stuff again.
Yeah, and costumes don't have to be a hindrance either. I mean, sometimes if you do it right, you don't have to be in some sort of big extravagant thing. Tactical cosplay, says Bob Spicer. I know, Bob.
It's Spitzer.
I thought it was Spitzer. All right.
That's Mark Spitzer. That's his cousin, the Olympic swimmer.
Yeah. I have
This
two
is
more.
Bob Spicer's the rum guy. Captain Morgan.
This next question, Gavin, comes from Simeon. He says, can you name some of your most nerve-wracking situations that have happened to you in a game? Yeah. Anyone want to go first?
Yeah, it was once at a forward bunker at a big game, and I was covering one side, and the guy on my team was covering the other side.
Here we go.
And this jackass, his phone rings in the middle of it, and he stops to answer the phone. So the entire left side of the bunker completely open to everything as he's talking to Simon, who's standing on the other side of the mesh.
My
10 feet away.
gun was still firing. To your point, my story was going to be that same game. I got up to a wall of a building, but it was a row of buildings, and the only way that we could get through is through windows. But I found this great little area where there's a little alcove, so there was no way they could shoot at me. But guys were trying to shoot under the building at my feet, and I had that was the game that Enola Gay had sent us. I asked for a couple of paint grenades, and they sent us a case of them. Remember that? So I had them in my pocket.
A case of smoke and a case of grenades.
Yeah, so I took one and I started throwing them over the wall, and they're the ones that explode, so it makes noise. That was nerve-wracking because you could hear them getting angrier and angrier on the other side of the wall. So I apologize for those people, but
I remember chucking 4 smoke grenades into that castle and randomly chucking 4 paint grenades in after, and just hearing the people on the inside lose their marbles.
yeah. What about you guys? Any tense situations on the field?
Not from a player's perspective, but usually medical emergencies.
Yeah.
But I enjoy playing, and that's sort of par for the course. Whenever you get outgunned or outnumbered, or you're about to be really, really devastated.
I think a nerve-wracking. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, but for me, it's always about everybody else's playing enjoyment as well.
Yeah.
And whenever there's a medical emergency, I think that becomes nerve-wracking. That you want to make sure everybody leaves the game safely, and everyone has a good time. So, I'm usually one of the first people to respond whenever something like that comes up, and I hope others do the same.
But Gavin,
'cause we
you've
have-
done the same thing as I have. You have a daughter, and you've played paintball with her. I
Yep.
played paintball with mine, and the first time she was 7, and then we played JT Splatmaster and eventually got up
Right.
a little bit. But that was my most nerve-wracking time because here I am trying to play with her, trying to steer her, keep her from getting afraid and shot, but yet I'm trying to defend her without like playing paintball. I'm trying to, kind of keep her covered but safe, but yet having fun without her realizing I'm whatever. But that's nerve-wracking because you really want someone. It's like when you bring your girlfriend or your significant other to the field, you want them to have nothing but an awesome time so that they accept your sport and maybe encourage you more to play it, right?
Right.
But yeah,
really-
that's nerve-wracking.
Really good point, because again, whoever you bring out with you, and if they are flesh and blood, then absolutely you want to make sure that they're safe and having a great time. So I think most viewers who have kids can relate to that. That the first time out, you're like almost Nerf bubbling them or bubble wrapping them, and you want to make sure they're okay. So they keep coming out because it's something that we all very clearly enjoy and love. And to bring your own flesh and blood out to do that as well would be fantastic. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
For me, not so much anymore, but that's okay.
And then what about Joe? I can imagine just wizarding or organizing a big game's got to be pretty nerve-wracking if you've got big landslides happening back and forth and people throwing problems and
Yeah, just look at his hair. Joe's only actually 24.
Yes.
Who's he, Hans Mole Man?
I wish I was only 24. Yeah, I think you're trying to when you're running a big game and the missions, you want everything to you have a preconceived idea how the game's going to unfold, and you want them to continue to unfold because you're worried. You want everyone, not only do you want to have a victor, but you want to make sure both teams have a good time and they want to return. So that's it's pretty. But that is running a big game that much different than in every Saturday or any Sunday or a Tuesday night? You want your participants you want everyone that's out to have a good time. So that's their sport. It's their free time, and you want them to have a good time. And sometimes it's tough because you have different skill levels playing, and it's a bit of a juggling act.
Yeah. John Jones says his most nerve-wracking was first time he played Dynasty in Amsterdam. Lost 21-5 as there was no mercy rule. Yeah, I miss old X-Ball. For what it wrecked of our industry, it was certainly fun to play. But no mercy rules, 15 balls a second, long halves. That was some fun things. Bob says most nerve-wracking took Gog shot in a tournament, and the ref stopped all play because he saw what I didn't. The paint pushed past the foam of my Proflex and busted my nose inside the mask. Well, that would explain why he looks that way. Well,
that explains his high nasally voice.
Spisser.
Yeah.
I got one more to add. I don't know if this happens to you guys too, but you're at a big game and you hear stuff going on constantly. My nerves get up when everything all of a sudden goes quiet. It's in the middle of the day and everything goes quiet. People stop shooting. I always worry that I missed something. Like, did I miss the ref say somebody got injured, put your stuff down? Did I miss the fact that there's a break for lunch? Did I miss it? That always gets my nerves up because it's like, oh crap, what happened?
Yeah. Yeah. Along that same thing, it's when you see somebody doing something wrong at the field, whether you're in the staging area and someone leaves the chrono and doesn't put their sock on or something like that, but they're too far out of reach for you to say anything, but you can see it from across the field and you're hoping that somebody will catch them before they do something stupid. Yeah, stuff like that bothers me too. Should we move on, Gavin? One more question, visual question?
Yeah, one visual would be great.
Gary Kress sends this in. He says, why does Gavin hate Ryan McGee's questions so much? Asking for a friend.
That's awesome.
Is that friend Ryan? I will never answer that question. Nah, I'm teasing. You know, we love Ryan McGee. He's been
Not me.
a long time. Yes, he's been a long time supporter of the show. He asked a lot of questions. We appreciate it. So,
Absolutely.
as much as I pretend to be angry at him, I'm certainly not. We appreciate everybody who contributes to the show. He's a big contributor. So,
Yeah.
yes.
And to be honest, you guys, we're trying to be the most interactive paintball show that we can possibly be. The problem is there's 4 of us windbags here that we all want to have an opinion and talk, and we do try to watch you guys in the live comments. We try to reply, but it's very difficult. Then there's people in the live chat like Sebastien Monnier that we try to ignore. So, I mean, it's a fine line, doing this. But I appreciate all of you guys, and especially all of you guys that are sharing this to paintball groups and some of your friends and anywhere on Facebook. We definitely really appreciate it.
And in all fairness, we can ignore Seb, because if he hangs up on a VIP phone call, he deserves it.
We'll have to get Seb back in the
Seb.
studio one day. Yeah.
And so for those of you people who will be watching now and interacting, we appreciate it. It takes me a little while to respond to you because just the setup that I have right now. So if you get a like or a comment 2 days later, then I didn't ignore you. I am definitely, watching later on. So we're all dealing with our gray right now, which is our lockdown. So bear with us, but we appreciate all your contributions and your support of the show.
Absolutely. So thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to zip away for just a quick second. We're going to play you this week's Vault episode from Joe. When we get back, guys, we have Antique Roadshow. We have a topic that we want to get to. Maybe Price is Right. We have a great custom corner and a lot more, so don't go anywhere, guys.
It's Joe from Flaggers Paintball. Each week we go back in time and we do a segment called From the Vault. This week is no different. This is our first vault of 2021, and we're doing it for Behind the Bunker. This week I pulled out of the vault my mini mag. This is a pretty stock one. It's mini mag serial number 253. So Tom K put this one together by himself. Friend of mine was a machinist at the time. He modified a car stock so we could have a car stock on, got a vertical bottle on it, of course. My view loader, actually this is a Protein Products feed elbow, and I do have a sight rail. Next week we'll look at my original sight that I used for it, which is pretty cool. Long before the days of everybody having red dot sights, there was a company that made red dots. Some of you old school guys might remember the name of the company, but we'll look at that next week, as well as my Armson barrel that I had from my mini mag, which made this thing perform super awesome. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching Behind the Bunker and From the Vault. Pew pew.
All right, Joe, that was cool.
That's pretty neat. That's my mini mag, my original mini mag. As I said, it's serial number 253 253. So it's a pretty, early version of mini mag. Before the mini mag came out, I had a couple of crown points with power feed, but that's really my first one. And like I said, I had a friend that had worked at a machine shop, and he took those car stocks, which there was really no stocks available for people guns at the time, and he machined it and we bolted them on, so we had collapsible car stocks on our mini mag, which was pretty cool. And I used 3.5 ounce tanks on that, and I had I used to carry them in my Eagle drip down thing with my Eagle vest. So it was pretty cool playing with that mini mag. I might bring it out again. It paired nicely with my Vents goggles, so yeah, pretty cool.
Nice to see. Let's give a shout out to Alistair. If he didn't tell me he was from the UK, I probably would have picked that out. But nice to have you, sir. And nice to see some fresh new names in the live chat as well. If you guys want to participate, just type in the comments, and we'll hopefully try to get to your comments on the show.
See, this is why it's important to like and share.
Colin Cooper's there.
So new people hop into this program as well. So thank you, everybody who's liked and shared. Make sure you keep doing it so Alistair and his friends can join us.
Yeah. Hey, how about we do a little custom corner here, ladies and gentlemen? This was sent in from Joey Setapan. And I know I'm butchering that, but I apologize. But some really neat stuff. You can see he's got some custom goggles right here. I'll try to do some zooming in on that. Pretty awesome. And then look at this beast.
Is that his as well?
That is his as
Is
well.
that attached to the chair?
You guys watching at home are getting better shots than the guys on Zoom right now. But
was he the guy who asked earlier about a lighter tank?
Yes, he was asking about.
He's trying to trim a couple of pounds off.
Because I've got questions.
That is like,
That thing.
I would have a hard time playing with it just because the weight of it and whatever. But it looks fantastic. I'd be very proud to play that.
Factor alone.
Does it?
Badass factor
Very
alone.
cool. Nice job.
Well done.
That's what
Kinda
you take to your
walkie-talkie
rental
built on
field
it.
and walk past the newbies. Not that you're playing with them, but just to intimidate them. And there you go. There he is, also in another creation there with his Yoda on.
Where is he? Because wherever he is, it looks snowy.
I'm not sure. I know he's watching right now. Maybe Joey will post up in the live chat. And also post, Joe, I have to be honest with you, I want to know what the base gun is underneath all of that. Yeah, and here you go. Here's his social media post here. I am proud to announce that Joey will be the captain of the NJ division of the New York Savage Beasts. Nice done.
Looks like he's in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Nice.
New Jersey. Very cool. Guys, if you have anything cool that you have done up or made custom, send it into the show. We'd love to share it and put it out there for all of you guys to check it out. Antiques Roadshow, I can't find the images that I had loaded, so give me a couple minutes on that. Why don't we go into our topic of this evening? But before we do that, I just wanted to tell you guys a couple things. Did you know that Planet Eclipse guys have more championships, new mechanical markers, new electros, new territory, including the new MagFed division? Get Planet Eclipse guys and take on the world. Ask for them at your local pro shop.
When the world's greatest players, photographers, and expected parents need the best coverage, most vivid colors, biggest selection, they pull a tab on an EG product. Hashtag Pop Smoke.
Thick welded seam, stainless steel hardware, and multiple color options make AirUps the #1 choice for inflatables on and off the field. Made in America by Brent Davis and his crew, AirUps.com.
Dreams fade, ruthless paintball products. Colors, this reads sublimation and craftsmanship never die on or off the field. Ruthless keeps you fresh. Use the promo code BTB15 for 15% off.
Adapt, create, and win. Exalt is in our blood. Make your game boil. Get Exalt. Available worldwide.
From the beginning, you'd stumble down a rocky cliff or waded chest deep through a mosquito-infested bog. Now, whether you're sliding into snake or gunny, GI Sports has the gear for you. Now at the new Stormer, Stormer Elite, and Stormer Tactical.
DLX Technologies, guys. True industry innovators with some of the lightest, fastest, and sleekest hardware in the paintball industry. DLX has the power to get you to the podium, and by golly, that's where you want to be. So thank you to all of our great sponsors. If it wasn't for you, we would not be here today. So thank you so much. Here's the part where you guys can be part of the show tonight. We have a topic that we want to discuss, and the topic is, what is the worst paintball product that you've ever purchased? Want to hear from you guys. If you guys want to post up in the live chat, we'll try to get to your comments. We had about 20 or 30 sheets of comments that we printed this afternoon, so we'll get to some of those today. Either of you guys want to start with what you got? I know it's a hard thing when I just throw it out to you guys.
I've got one, Mike Mowry, my old DP, which is a Dangerous Power G3. Spent more time on the workbench than in the field. Darcy Baxter says, JT Vortex fan, man, he says, sounds like a giant mosquito. I thought they worked pretty well. I'm going to have to disagree with you on that, Darcy.
And that's how we know Joe never used one.
I had
they were not bad. Okay, well, in Joe's defense, they were quieter than the Extreme Rage Goggle fan.
They were quieter than the Dye one, too. The Dye one was great at turning battery power into noise.
Yeah, that's very true.
Sean Riddle said a 1-year subscription to Behind the Bunker.
Ooh, best
Sean.
money he's ever spent.
Ooh, Sean, that's a good one.
I still can't believe he paid $0.25 for that.
Nicholas Ashby is brass those were the predecessor, the V-Force, what was it, Pro Shield or whatever. What was it called? Profiler. Remember that? Michael Lucas, Brass Eagle Poison. I agree. Although the Brass Eagle Nightmare never worked, it sounded like an elephant gun. Alistair Hubert Hayes says the TM7 would not work right. TM7s. We have TM7s that guys are still using and shooting all day long. Rock and Trigger Spider Electra. I agree. That is a recycled bin treat. I'm going to turn it over to someone else and see what they have.
Young Wolf Critchlow, who's relatively new to paintball, writes in and says the Tippin paintball grenade, which was awesome when it was awesome, but more often than not.
I don't
That was a great grenade. That was a great grenade. I never bought one, but whenever it was thrown at me and didn't deploy, I would always throw it back, and it worked. So
Yes, those are the best parts about it.
it was free, and it was grateful.
But okay, so I feel bad that we're mocking someone's paint grenade company. If you ever saw how a paint grenade was created and the conditions that the person manufacturing them had to be in, I don't think you'd make.
Let's just say that the Tippmann paint grenade eliminated more Tippmann employees than people on the field.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Matthew Petrushuk says, well, I never bought one, but a pass from the fraudulent paintball group that was selling their passes at the mall and conventions. That group hurt the sport more than anything else, and I have a tendency to agree.
We won't say the name, but yeah, we know who you mean. We want many more credit than they need. I have one more.
Yes.
John Cito, who should stick to making egg rolls, says Tippmann TIPX Milsig M17. I agree the Milsig, but I think the TIPX is a solid pistol shooter, John Cito.
Yes, it is.
I think he meant to write in Armotech.
Maybe he meant
Yes.
Armotech is before his time.
Yeah.
Jeff Troxwell says, Viewloader Quantum. What a load of junk. What a load of hunk of junk that was barely agitated paint. However, it agitated the nerves of his teammates really well.
Hey, what about Roger Weaver? He says a fanny pack to carry extra emergency ammo. Roger
That's
Weaver
never a
with a
terrible
fanny
idea.
pack. Oh, my goodness.
Bob Spicer has a comment, but we shouldn't say. Bob Spicer says the T15 sucks.
Okay. So Mark Miles says his is a ticket to the Oklahoma D-Day. So that was a bad purchase for him. Dave Esselink says a used autococker.
Oh,
Brian Bailey says an Indian Creek BKO.
yeah.
Oh.
Eli Booth, I'm going to agree with you and disagree with you. He says Tippmann C3. Yeah, not a good purchase.
Not at all.
But I would be happy to have
No,
one
yes,
just for
yes, no.
nostalgia's sake.
Perfect purchase. Christopher Greathouse says his flatline barrel for his M98. I don't know about that.
I
but
think the flatline barrel was
Must
a
not have been.
brilliant product, but you had to use decent paint, and there are fields that
Yes.
do not use decent paint as the ball that they're serving up. If you had a good paintball through that gun, it worked, and it worked well.
And it worked better on HPA than CO2. And I think that was a lot of people's
And you couldn't
problem.
use a
'Cause-
flatline barrel in the cold weather either.
No, people wanted to use a flatline barrel, go up to the chronograph, and hit 275, 280. And that was the problem. If you use HPA and chronographed at 260, it worked really, really, really well.
Yeah. BKO, I love my BKO, says Eric Parks. Here's the problem. I mean, with all these paintball markers, with some exception, there's going to be some good and bad, and I think, I think you have to take everybody's opinions with a grain of salt. I mean, back in the day, people would come to the store and ask for Spider, because that's all they saw in paintball magazines, thinking they were the greatest thing in the world. And whether they were or they really weren't, that was just people's opinion. So you just have to take it with a grain of salt. Carlos says Empire Tracer.
Maybe, yeah, I would.
The remake, it was odd to shoot. I don't know if you guys ever shot one, but I found myself almost aiming low, which was a really weird feeling.
think I have an Empire Tracer somewhere, but I'm not sure. And I don't. I think I have a Spider Hammer, but I'd like to find it.
Yeah.
So our friend Jim Attatail says an SP1. He wasn't a fan.
Oh, yeah.
Matthew Allen says his HK Hostile jersey. And Kevin Kuzmiak says his Scott Badass goggles.
Really? Chica Estrada says view loader Genesis, I guess. Cameron Turnbull, Apex 1 barrel was trash. The Apex 2 was awesome. What was different other than the length? Was the internals different, Joe?
No, it was the same rubber bumper and stuff like that. I think it might have been just the fit in the barrel to breech fit, perhaps, but I believe the internal component is the same.
I wonder if I'm not sure if that's true. I think the Apex 2 had a longer rubber piece to it, or maybe it was a more gradual.
Maybe because it was longer.
And it would make sense because it did come out later. Maybe they fixed whatever the texture on it.
People say the same.
Yeah. Carrie Kress needs to hit a pharmacy and maybe get a throat lozenge, but he says cough cough monster balls. Yeah. David Generou says the evil gun that they had out. Yeah, the evil omen for sure. The Nova was a piece of poop, says Bobby Doused.
Lies, all lies. I loved it.
Jesse Sprung says his 09 Proto SLG UL. Yeah.
Jared Grunwald says the unbreakable Draxus
Kimmy Schmidt.
motor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if you said the name wrong, it shattered.
Adam Lejeunesse says the JT Lens fan.
Again, those are fighting words.
I don't know, man.
Nothing turned AAA batteries into sound better than that.
Yeah.
All the fans that are on the market, that's probably the easiest to use.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
John Jones says the RT Auto Mag, heavier than a Challenger tank. The reactive trigger meant it had to be chronoed low to allow the supercharging and spiking. It's kind of like a KP3. Slam pod, says Eric Parks. Yeah.
Dylan Owen says the DXS Pulse Loader.
Yeah. My save face goggle system. Nice, Bob.
You can't. They're not. They don't have They don't have ratings. You can't wear those. Our insurance company will not.
Yeah.
Will not support them. So we consequently cannot allow people to use them at our location.
So he says they're great for his bass boat, horrible for paintball. I don't understand why. Pardon me because I don't fish, but why would you need goggles for bass fishing?
They go, I think.
On open water, if you're in a boat that goes fast enough, you need goggles in order to see.
Understand. Okay. Very good. Any other poignant ones before we move on, guys?
I've got one of my own.
Yeah. Oh, I guess we haven't even asked each other.
I would have to say the Reds squeegees because it gave me hope for what a squeegee could be. And there was a day where I pulled mine out of the sink after washing it, and it literally unraveled itself. I tried 4 different glues to glue it back together unsuccessfully.
I remember the eulogy you prepared for that.
It was a tearful one. There were many people there, and everyone understood when I broke down crying for 2 hours.
How I nearly knew ye.
Now, Edit Exalt has done quite a fantastic job of coming up with a decent barrel swab, and I do enjoy those. But I feel the world will never know another Reds squeegee, and that makes me sad.
I'm so grateful that you clarified that because you're about to lose your spot on the panel.
Yeah.
Because that was the greatest squeegee
Todd
ever.
was ready to punch me through Zoom. That was awesome.
Yeah, there was going to be a mute button there.
Good for you, Zuby. Well played.
And it would have been rightfully so. But yes, it gave me hope. And it's sad that there's a couple products in paintball that have come around that have stopped being manufactured through whatever reasons, through sales and hostile takeovers or whatever you want to call it. But it's sad that there was products that were out there that we will never see again.
Yeah.
But speaking of incredible squeegees, what we need the whole paintball community to rally around is a really good 50 cal squeegee.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
Agreed.
Yeah, for sure.
That is, yeah.
For
that
sure.
is
Exactly. My sentiments exactly. The push is on for low impact 50 cal, whatever you want to call it in your particular region. But what is lacking and it makes it very difficult to offer a fantastic level of service is the lack of a real squeegee clean out the barrel that you keep these people shooting.
Yeah. Mike in the live chat says, what about the Brass Eagle Barracuda? 1 yard trigger pull and sounds like a yak farting.
brilliant.
I'm gonna.
There was a lot of pump autocockers that sounded like duck being stepped too.
We lost Josh just as he was going to describe that.
Perfect.
That was almost perfect. I'm going to say the thing that I think the worst thing that I bought, and I had to buy repeatedly because there was very little on the market at that point, but I bought the Evolution eggs several times. I bought one, I broke the lid, I bought another one, I used the first one as parts, but there was nothing useful on there, and then I broke the battery compartment on the next one, so it just became a Frankenstein, and I kept buying them because the only other option at the time was a Halo, and it was way more money, and I didn't believe I needed to spend that on a loader. But once you're like 3 or 4 of those eggs in, you're like, okay, I should have just bought a Halo at the time. So yeah, that's something I wish I wouldn't have bought.
So Tommy Guns has a great comment in the chat, but we'll never read it on air. But well done, my
Yes.
friend. Well
Capital trophy for this evening. Best comment ever.
Where is that?
done. Read it in the after show.
Good for you, Tommy.
I can't see it.
You have to scroll way back. Yeah. What about you, Joe? Worst product you've bought?
Oh. I don't know, but the best product I've bought is my darn tough socks. I don't know. Probably Brass Eagle Nightmare was probably my worst buy. This didn't work very well.
Chica,
I don't know.
Chica Estrada, by the way, says my egg still works. I'm not saying the eggs never worked. No. The eggs, the motor, and the battery and everything in there were fantastic. It was everything else. It was everything made of plastic on that thing. That was the shell.
If you had a door
everything
that could hold the batteries in, it would agitate for a little bit.
Yeah. But I mean, I used duct tape to hold the lid together and hold the batteries in. I had to use a piece of cardboard from a paint box to keep the 9-volt separate because you'd lose the plastic spacer. The springs, you would tape your lid because you lost the springs on it. I mean,
That's actually
what sporting equipment uses blunt Phillips head screws as a hinge point?
people who hate you.
Yeah.
That was actually my first introduction to Gavin's brother, who he hates to admit he's related to, was him standing over a trash can telling me how awesome the new egg hopper was as he emptied out his paint left over from the day, and it stopped 4 times as the paint was going through.
Jeez.
And then when he threw it in his gear bag, I swear I saw a plastic part come flying back out.
Nice. Hey, just for you guys that are watching at home right now, we are... Matt's telling me that we're back up on YouTube. So have a look. I'm trying to find it myself. I'm not seeing it, but maybe we'll be able to find the link here. Well, why don't we wrap up? Anyone else has any clothing thoughts on this topic before we go, or any other good ones before we end it?
I got nothing.
That's funny.
Haven't heard from him in a while.
Yeah.
No.
Is he alive?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. All right, well, we're gonna do a couple things because YouTube is down. We're not gonna do much of an after show. We will do one for the podcast listeners, but we won't be able to watch it on YouTube, unfortunately, just because for whatever reason YouTube's encoder was causing us a lag. So we're not gonna do that. I want to apologize to a couple people. There was some content I wanted to get on tonight. We're having technical issues, so I did not get those loaded up. But whatever I promised to get up tonight, we'll get up next week. I want to finish off with a quick Antiques Roadshow here real quick, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to show you a gun right now. And I'm told that this is a mechanical rainmaker.
That's a cocker.
It's a rainmaker.
Something tell me it never made rain.
Yeah, so let me zoom in here because you can see how the body was cut. So it's definitely a rainmaker. You can tell by the body up here.
Okay, yeah.
You can see how it's been cut out, and they've turned it into a mechanical. They put an autococker grip on it with an evil sticker on it. And let me go to the other side of this thing.
Is that a sticker or grip?
It's a sticker. It's a sticker.
Yeah.
It's a WGP grip though, because the Rainmaker didn't have that grip.
It is, but they basically became
Palmer's three-way on the front.
It's a Palmer's LPR for sure. Let's go back to this side, and then it's a stock autococker front block and three-way, and the ram looks like it's a Palmer's possibly as well.
And the original Jedi logo, is that what that is?
And then what do you call that? A
Looks
Dishka
like,
on the front?
It looks like it's got some macro line on it too.
Yeah. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Take it for what it's worth. The bolt looks like it's removable there as well. So this was produced by a fellow named Jordan. This comes to us from Nebnella on Facebook. He found this. He wants to know how much it would sell for. This fellow is asking $500.
I think Neb put this together out of spare parts from the bottom of his trunk of his car.
That's an awful lot of effort to like. I appreciate that it was a Rainmaker. I appreciate that it has some decent parts and it's neat. I don't think I would pay $500 for it if I were interested. And I'm not trying to put it down. Let's go to you guys in the live chat. Bobby Dow says $1,400.
What?
I think Bobby might be. I think he might still be on tryptophan from his Christmas turkey.
Bobby, do us all a favor, bud. Say no to crack.
Well, that stimulus check hasn't come in yet, so just relax a bit.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, the grip's worth something. The reg's worth something. I mean,
if that's all Palmer's three-way, that's worth a little something too.
I think
that macro line's at least $1 a foot.
Oh, for sure.
True.
For sure.
Eric Park says $125. Devin Swartz says $200 for the Frankenmarker.
That's funny.
Do
you think this thing? Do you think this thing could make rain anymore?
I don't know.
Make people cry. That's for sure.
Roger Weaver says it's a canonizer on the front. Okay. Yeah. George Jones says.
Yeah, Roger, that doesn't help.
John Jones says it fell out of the ugly tree and hit every branch. $90 for the parts. It's like John Jones's family tree only has one branch.
Why would you say that?
Sorry, John.
That's so bad.
TCAS John at $53. Bill Scribner decreased value since there is an evil sticker $250. Gary Crest's $1.
The evil grip frame kills it.
Yeah. Well, what is he trying to pass that for? Yeah, I don't know. All right, well.
In the words of my 3-year-old, gerbage.
Gerbage.
Yeah. John Jones says harsh. I'm sorry, John. I apologize.
He knew what he was getting into when he signed into the show.
Yeah, that's true. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here's what we're going to do. We're going to say goodbye to you on Facebook. We're going to continue to record an after show for our podcast listeners. Matt thinks he's got it going to YouTube, so give it a shot. See if it's up there. Yeah. So thank you. And again, to those guys that I had content for tonight, I regret to inform you we'll have it on for next week. And some of your mail time questions we'll try to get to as well for next week. Watch for next week's topic. We'll post it on social media. Make sure you follow us on all the social media platforms so that you can be part of that conversation as well. We got a good one for next week as well. Thank you to Joe for being on the pre-show.
Thanks for very much for tuning in and tolerating us. I hope everyone in there, regardless of where you are in the world, I hope everyone is safe until at least next week so you can watch us again in Bunker. Pew, pew.
That's right. Garvin Sharma.
Wonderful to be here, and thank you, as Joe said, for all of you joining in and contributing to the chat as well. And before I leave, make sure you hit that like and share button and let people know what we do every Monday night, because this is our community, this is your program, and we're grateful for you to be here.
Absolutely. And Josh.
Yeah, thank you to all those who liked and shared the program. As we said last week and this week, it does make a big help. You guys did some sharing last week. We got fantastic numbers. We do appreciate that. And to the rest of you, sod off.
Yeah. Hey, if Greg Hastings can like and share this, you can too. So thank you guys.
He's got a baby. He's got no time on his hands.
He's got a mini-me now. So thank you very much for listening, guys. Tonight's show is brought to you by Twisted Tea. If you guys are watching us on Facebook, thank you for watching. If you're listening to a podcast, don't go anywhere. Our after show continues just after this.
Audio Jungle.
All right, and we are back. So thank you guys for listening to our podcast tonight and continuing to listen to it. I hope you enjoy our after show / podcast that we do for you guys every week. Tonight we will not talk about COVID, and we'll try to bring up something a little more, maybe a little more uplifting.
You guys are depressing as fuck.
Whoa, you're dropping the F-bombs already in the intro. Good for you, Josh.
What do you mean?
I'm proud of you.
I have no idea why, but Siri kicked in the middle of that.
That has got to be the creepiest thing. We've got, not Siri, sorry, we've got Alexa all over our house. And I've grown to use it and not mind it because it plays music in the background, and I like that. And I can call to different rooms, and I can whatever. But it still creeps me out that every time I walk in or say something, I can see the light as if it's thinking. Yeah. And
just ceases listening to your conversations, Todd.
Well, the thing is, they used to do that, but they used to.
Lights.
Yeah, and absolutely. But it's like OnStar. You can listen. Like, okay, if anything's taught me correctly, like on CSI or any of these television shows, you can tune into someone's vehicle if they have OnStar. Right? Like, it's everybody's listening to you, right? So they're listening to you on your phone, I'm sure of it. How can they not?
I guarantee anybody listening to me is a lot of farts. Just driving around.
I know. Gavin pocket dials me once in a while, and his life is not interesting, let me tell you.
Not at all. Damn, this drive-thru's too busy.
Yeah. Oh, well. So, yeah, whatever.
Singing out of tune to the radio station.
Taylor Swift.
Yeah. But I don't mind Alexa. I find that it needs a little bit of work for me to put more information into it. But, like, I can get it to play general music that I like listening to. We've been using it a lot. The kids in the house even today we were taking Christmas decorations out, and I keep hearing, Alexa, play Christmas music. And it's like, no.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. The kids don't want to let it go.
Here's the part that gets me.
Alexa, stop. Sorry.
The part that gets me is we have in our house Alexa, Google, and Siri.
Yeah.
Okay? And Alexa and Google kind of sit there and wait. The amount of times that Siri randomly kicks in and just starts talking is creepy.
Huh.
It is. It's like I don't say anything, and all of a sudden it's like, boop. The flight of an African swallow is 1,400 feet per second. It's like, nobody asked you. Shut up.
Okay, I'm driving around with Siri in my car, and I have to shut everything down. Turn the heat down, no windshield wipers. Can you hear me, Siri, please? Please connect with me. Please listen to me.
I know.
Start referring to yourself in third person. Siri, Gavin's cold.
Do you guys use your Siri in your car? That's one thing I haven't set up.
I do, yes.
Do you really? And does it work okay?
Sometimes I use it to ask something, but it doesn't work anyway. Do you have your Alexa set up for your lights and stuff?
A few, yeah.
In your house?
Yeah.
Because I can say, good night, Alexa. Alexa, good night. And then she'll maybe turn the lights off, but she didn't. And then when we want to turn the lights on, we say, Alexa, let there be light, and they all come on and it goes, oh, like that.
Yeah.
Well, like Alexa's, she's crying when you're like, "Good night, Alexa. I don't want to talk to you anymore."
My
good
daughter
night,
would go up to it
Jordan.
and say, Alexa, what is your name? And she would whisper it, and then Alexa would come back on and go, my name is Alexa, and whisper back, and I'm like, that's creepy. I think the most we use it for is asking her to give us a knock-knock joke, and they're not good.
But we use it often for the temperature, because if we're going to go out for a walk or something, even the kids go, Alexa, temperature, and then she'll go like it's 1 degree. But then I say, you have to ask the wind chill, because that's the true temperature. Then you ask the wind chill, and it's like 6 degrees cooler. So you know.
Yeah. Ask Alexa for the dry bulb temperature.
The what?
That when you talk about wind chill,
Yeah.
that's the dry bulb temperature. There's wet bulb and dry bulb temperature.
Oh.
That's the difference.
Okay.
You Cliff Clavened us. That's
I
right.
sometimes talk about that at work every day.
This
but-
is riveting conversation.
But you
for
okay?
every
So
who's listening right
I
now.
want to get one more question out. So Alexa, though, it is it's not smart, because we're sitting at the dining room table, we're having a conversation, and we'll bring up something. We'll be like, I don't know, let's ask her, and one of my daughters would pose the question, and then she's like, I don't know, and then she gives you some random fact about something else. Like, is Google or any of the other ones better?
I think Google knows more than Alexa when it comes to like statistics and things like that. But
You have to be careful with that, because Google just at least 224 employees.
yeah,
are
just formed a
unionized now.
union.
What is Alexa? Is that Amazon?
Amazon Alexa, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we often use the Google Home because Alexa's only on our thermostat, and we've had to turn it off because we've had random packages show up at our front door. So
Oh,
I'm guessing
nice.
it has something to do with the
That
children.
bitch. That
Yes.
bitch is ordering stuff.
So we use Google, and it seems to be quite fine. But I often more use it for a timer than anything when I'm in the kitchen or.
That's another thing.
Yeah.
I
use
just
Alexa.
I
timing
chose
up and-
Alexa because I know Bezos is hard on his luck after the divorce, and he's hard for cash.
He
Yeah.
sure
So
is.
I'm trying to support him.
Do you see what he made? Damn it.
He's not quite the wealthiest man in the world yet.
Oh
Let's get in there.
boy, oh
After
boy!
divorce, damn it.
I want a percentage of Bezos. I like even a half a percentage of his income. I could live
I'll be his
comfortably.
pool
on.
boy. Have an allegation.
I'll be his.
All I'm asking for is an hour's worth of his income. Just an hour. That's all. Just an
Yes.
hour.
Josh, you could
Just
curl
an
up.
hour and I'm good for life.
You could curl up on his head and be his hairpiece,
Sure.
and do quite well.
Whatever.
I will do that gladly.
I'll be his mustache for a day if he needs to. Like, come on.
Yeah. Oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, we kind of
Yeah,
got.
This is weird. This is
Paintball
very
talk.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've never
Paintball
committed to
show.
paintball talk on the after show.
Very true.
Yeah.
But we never talked about horror talk either.
Yeah, that's true. Oh well. So whatever. Anything else you guys want to chit chat about before we let the guys go?
I want to talk a little bit more about that Frankenmarker, but I think we beat that horse dead.
I feel bad for who put the time and effort into it, but it is ugly. Like
Well, you
it's
know what?
terrible.
But that's
They-
almost like someone did it on purpose.
Agreed. But these are labors of love, but
Yeah.
you'll never sell it for what you invest into it, right? Both
Yeah.
time and money, right? So
Yeah.
if you like it and it scares children, that's fantastic.
But again, some
I think
people
it's more
thought the
of a
autococker was
conversation
terrible.
piece, though.
You know, like the autococker when it first came out, it wasn't the prettiest of guns. They put the sheath over
No.
the top of the front to hide
True.
that stuff. But I mean, this is beyond that. Like, you could put a bed sheet over this and it's not going to help it. Yeah, I don't know.
That's a conversation piece for people who know what paintball markers are. Because some kid might look at that and just say, "Oh, it's a marker or it's a gun," whereas someone like us would walk into the field and go, "Hang on a second, what did you do?
Yeah.
Or
From
just why? Why would
Why
you
do
do
you
that?
have so much free time on your
So from an
hands?
engineering standpoint, good for him, right? Like he probably had to solve a bit of problems and get that to work that way and machine a lot of stuff. So good for him.
Yeah,
Just it's just not pretty. That's all.
it's the modern day MagFed marker, is what I think it is.
MagFed.
Yeah, well, I remember when MagFeds first came out, people were doing all kinds of wacky stuff to box mags
I
on
see where
them.
you're going
and
now.
Yeah,
they'd
yeah.
take hammer 7s and put them into wood socks and make snipers and all that stuff. It
I
was
enjoy
kinda
how
like
you've been
the
pluralizing
birth of-
everything and really embodying your Canadian roots here.
It's been locked into my basements for like 5 days now.
Oh, by the way, did the new season of Letterkenny come out? It was supposed to come out at Christmas, wasn't it?
Maybe.
I saw a preview
I don't
for it
know.
before Christmas, and it normally comes out. I'm
Yeah,
going to
I've
have
seen
to look
lots of-
into that.
Lots of previews for it.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, why don't we end this train wreck? If you guys are listening to us on our podcast, thanks again. Make sure you guys are subscribed to wherever you guys are downloading it. And I see I got an email from Google. Our where people get it off of Google has gone up. The Google, what's the app? Google Play. That's been going up. More people have been adopting it over there.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
That's where I've been listening to it, actually.
Oh, okay.
Because in my car, I can voice control it.
Oh, okay. I wonder if iTunes
It's
is having a
Google Podcasts
Yeah.
is what it actually is.
But with all these other apps, I wonder if iTunes is having a small slip in their market share. Because Google Play seems to be doing well. Spotify is doing well. You know, Joe Rogan only came over to Spotify when we got on there. So,
It's true.
Such a follower.
yeah. All right, ladies and
we
gentlemen.
just missed out on that 100 million Spotify contract.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right. Well, I guess we won't say farewell unless any of you guys have anything else to say.
No, not till next week. We'll have more
Sound-
more snippets and tidbits.
Sounds good. All right, guys. We'll see you next week.